heart been brown. Oh yeah, we're back, guys. We're back. Another vesting. Another vesting show. Make my heart rebound. Wait to make my. All right, let's see if we can. Let's see if we can actually get this going. See if we can get it to work on. We got the Twitch stream going. We got the YouTube stream going. We got the X stream going. We're in good shape. Let's see if I can get one more. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Appreciate everybody coming out. It's going to be a fun stream. Now, the last one. Can we get IG to work? It looks like we can. It looks like we can get IG to work. Now the show is live everywhere. The show is live everywhere. I didn't think it was going to work this easily, but here we are. What's going on, guys? It's working. It's working. We were able to get the show to work. We were able to get the show to work on every platform. That's actually quite insane. So what's up, everybody? No matter where you're watching, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, also now live on IG, I was able to get the show to work in short form version. And this is great because this means I can do more live streams here on IG, whether it's having people come up and pitch us live, bringing on guests onto the show to chat about their startups, the cool things they're building. No, I'm not. I'm not in New York. I'm based in Miami, Florida. But shout out to my designer. We've been working on getting the show or the ability to stream on multiple different platforms, including short form platforms. One of the platforms that we were really focused on getting going was Instagram. And I need to check to make sure the Instagram live stream is actually working because I don't know if it froze, if it is freezing, I'm not too sure. But it's one of the platforms that we've been like super bullish on getting going. What's up, Gabe? Yeah, we have. Is it working? Do I need to restart the? I might need to restart it. Let me see. Let me stop. Stop all, maybe? No. Looks like it stalled out. Did it stall? Let's see. Let me see if I can get it to... what does it say? Is there an audio issue? Oh, man. Is there really an audio issue? Stream... there might have been an audio output issue. We will see. But this is why we have about 10 minutes before our guest joins us today. What's up, Drive? So this gives me time to figure out. I also was trying to go live on Instagram. But let me see, because if it doesn't let me do it, I think it will. I just need to make sure everything is like working correctly. But if not, I'll have to get my guy in here to solve the problem. Digging the shirt, appreciate it. Yeah, I was mixing it up a little bit, you know. I feel like I normally just rock a t-shirt, but I was like, you know what, let's put something. I like dressing for the moment, for the occasion a bit. I feel like it makes the streams a bit more of a vibe. And bear with me as I'm trying to solve some technical difficulties on IG. But I am going to tell you, I'm glad I started this stream early, because normally I don't start the stream early. And then I'm like, oh man, like what the hell is going on? How do I fix this? Blah, blah, blah. But luckily enough, today, I actually started the stream early. So it gives me some time when I'm running into technical difficulties to solve some of them. One of them being, I'm trying to stream to Instagram as well. You got to open pitch more often. I know it's on the list of things to do. Here's the thing with open pitch, right? Is not doing it. The whole thing is like, you got to align two things. VCs, you have to align VCs, and then you also have to align like founders that like fit the thesis of the VC, right? Like I can't be like, oh man, I'm going to have open pitch. And then it's like open pitch, but I'm bringing founders onto the stream that like don't align with VCs, the thesis that a VC might have, because then that defeats the purpose. Let's see. Open pitch, but oh my God, it's loud. I'm bringing okay, that's so loud. Hopefully it does not crash, because IG just crashed a minute ago. But I've been trying to stream to IG for the longest time, right? So if you're in IG, appreciate you guys for pulling up. What's up, Zay? I see you in the chat. We've been doing these live streams on, I've been doing these live streams on Twitch, YouTube, and X for the longest time. And I was working with my graphic designer, and I was like, yo, can we set up a similar frame to like the live show and like get it to where it'll work consistently for IG? Because if we can also get it to work on IG, I can stream to multiple places at once. I can bring up founders onto the stream to pitch me live, because we have a ton of different options. Like we have the solo cam where it's me talking. We have the solo cam plus the screen, which is like me plus the screen, right? Then to go from there, we have the solo cam. We have the solo cam plus myself and the guest. Layout is fire. Appreciate it. I've been working on the vesting show, man. So if you're watching on Instagram, appreciate you pulling up as well. What's up, Avid? So we can now have multiple different cams, but I think what's probably the most overkill is I also have it to where we can do 3 cams. So I can have 3 people here. I can have myself. I can have a guest. I can have a guest VC. I can also have a startup founder pitching, or I can have multiple startup founders pitching me all at once, which is just great. But for now, because our guest has not joined us yet, you just get me live in like multiple different places. So if you're watching on IG, I appreciate you. It's a pleasure to have you on. Welcome to the stream. If you're watching on Twitch, it's a pleasure to have you on. Welcome to the stream. I can see all of your chats. No, this is not through OBS. I am running this on vMix. I use vMix for my streaming stuff. So yes, we are now live in like 4 different places. And it took about, I would say like a month's worth of work to get it like this, but also a fair amount of capital. Hey, I love your content. First time non-technical founder, your content has been life-changing. Fire. What has been the most difficult part of being a first-time non-technical founder? I used to be a first-time non-technical founder. That's a story for another day that at some point I will have to share. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for watching the content. If you ever have any questions, shoot me a DM. But I will be going live here more. What's up, John? I will be going live here more on Instagram, just like I'm live on Twitch, YouTube, X. So if you like watching in vertical format, you can watch me here. If you would prefer to watch in a more, I would say, landscape format, right? Like you can also watch live on Twitch or live on YouTube. Just search Vesting or Bryson. But yeah, so here's the plan for today. Just to give you guys kind of a sense of the run of show. We have a really awesome person joining us on the stream today. He has been building a venture firm. I mean, he's probably been building a venture firm since I was in college, I believe. Like, I think Harlem opened like 2016, 2017. I could be mistaken, but we have a venture. So we have a VC coming on the stream. I'm going to be chatting with him for about, I would say 30 minutes, which is why if you're watching on IG, there's like these topics to like, I think it's this side of the screen. there's topics that way. Those are the topics we're going to be chatting about. And to give you kind of a sense of who we are chatting with, we are chatting with a LinkedIn influencer, VC, content creator, investor, whatever you want to call him. A little bit, he does a little bit of everything, but he's built out a really cool fund that invests in a lot of companies. And he's been, I would say, he's been really transcending the game. And he was one of the first black VCs I ever met. So today we do have another Miami native alongside myself. We have HENRI from HARLEM Capital, who's going to be joining us on the stream to talk about his journey as a venture capitalist. And at the end of the stream, we have two startup founders that will be coming onto the stream to pitch their startups to HENRI live. What's up, Devin? What's up, Sam? Yeah, we are back. Streams, we're getting back to the longer streams starting Monday. We'll start making them a little bit longer, more time where I'm dissecting people's companies and things and such not with in between. So it should be pretty dope. But we have a really cool guest that's going to be coming on. Super excited for it. And he should be joining us here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Yo, Dev, appreciate the bits, the 500 bits on Twitch. So it's going to be fun, man. I love being able to bring on founders and investors because you learn a lot about people, man. You learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about what they invest in. Bigger streams are going to be sick. Yeah, Vince, we're live on Instagram now. So we're putting the stream everywhere. Investing is going to be literally everywhere. And the goal is to be able to bring up more founders onto the stream from the people who are actually watching the show live. So whether you are watching live on Instagram, whether you're watching live on Twitch. Additionally, I've said it once before, but again, if you do miss the show, don't feel discouraged because we post the full show goes live on Spotify as well as like Apple Music, YouTube, all these places. So you'll be able to get a very good understanding of everything that you miss, regardless of where you are around the world and like what you have going on. Because at the end of the day, I think we are in a time period where venture is going to be in my opinion, one of the main. This is so hard, Cheese, bro. Appreciate you, Humphreys. Much love, bro. I think, but in general, I was saying, I think venture content, startup content is probably the most underrated area of content. And also shout out to our first ever sponsor, our first ever partner for the show. I haven't made the IG reel yet. Our first ever partner is Warp. And Warp is a HR payroll and compliance company, former YC backed startup. And they focus on making it seamless and easy for you to have HR payroll and compliance. So think Gusto on steroids, but better. So shout out to Warp. Make sure you check them out. If you're running a company, you need to run payroll, run it through Warp and tell them I sent you. But as I was saying, we have founders coming on the stream today. We have a VC coming on the stream. So it should be dope. And yeah, I just want to interact with y'all. I see y'all in the chat on IG. I see you in the chat on Twitch. I haven't seen a lot of the streams lately, but try my best. Vince, I know you're busy, bro. You've raised money, man. You have some dope stuff coming on. We also got to make some content about that. Morby, hear from Luminous AI. Try our automated go-to-market engineer. So if I try your go-to-market engineer, will it find me customers? Luminous AI, this is going to be big. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on, Anisha, to pitch later. I think that I was doing a little bit of research on your background previously when we chatted about having you come on and pitch. And it's going to be just super interesting to see kind of what it's like, because it's different when you're pitching like to me on this, but when you're actually talking to a VC who's done it, who's deployed capital and the limelight's hit, we're going to see the vibes. But we have the man, the myth, and the legend backstage. HENRI from HARLEM Capital is joining us. And I don't want to take too much of his time. You know, as a VC, you got to be super efficient with your time. So without further ado, HENRI, appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show, man. How you doing today?
Good, man. I'm loving the Friday afternoon energy coming from you.
I had to get it right, bro. Like the whole focus and point of the show is like, I want to make venture and startup media fun. Like everybody does like the slow, boring podcast, and it's great, right? Like it has its time and its place. But I think a lot of people don't understand venture capital. A lot of people want to get into venture and startups and they have no clue how to do it. And I think that democratizing venture in an open way and being able to bring esteemed VCs like yourself onto the show to just talk about your journey, talk about the things you love investing in, the areas and niches of startups and venture that interest you, and also review some pitches, give some feedback. It's a pleasure, bro.
Let's do it. It's been a long time coming.
I gotta know, we gotta start it off like this because you actually have like a pretty insane background. All the way back to you're from Detroit, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Detroit, Michigan, Harvard graduate, and you also launched a venture fund. But prior to the accolades, like if you could take me back into like who is HENRI, like the early days, the pre all of this dope shit happening in your life, like what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Detroit. I went to Northwestern for college. I've always known that I've wanted to do finance. I started trading stocks when I was 12 years old in middle school. I had a company that I started while I was in college as well. I just love like math. Math was my favorite subject. I loved money. I loved playing with it. I loved manipulating it because everything about it, I knew very early I wanted to be in finance. And I got into like finance internships super early, worked at Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, a black-owned private equity firm. So I knew that was my passion and kind of what my purpose was on earth. So I felt, fortunate to know that pretty early in my life. And as you mentioned, after I graduated from school, did investment banking at Bank of America for 2 years. Then I went to a private equity shop for 2 years where Jared, who's my co-founder, was my cube mate. And that's actually where we started Harlem Capital 10 years ago as an angel syndicate, which just means we were investing our own money into startups. And fast forward 2 years later, Jared was my roommate at Harvard Business School. And that's where we said, hey, we started recruiting. Nobody was doing what we wanted. And so we said, why don't we just raise a fund and use the angel syndicate as our track record. And so we started raising our fund between first and second year of business school. And that was 7 years ago now.
7 years. Like when you were in the earliest processes and kind of building out what the fund would look like, you started off just angel investing, writing checks into companies you believed in, building out kind of an SPV network where you were providing investment opportunities. In the earliest days, like what was the hardest part about getting into rounds that are interesting enough that other investors want to get into?
Yeah, I mean, as an angel investment, so it was six of us. We put in $10,000 each to start, so $60,000. That eventually grew to $250,000 because we just loved what we were doing so much. And part of the reason why we did the angel syndicate was like, hey, we want to be able to write $25,000 checks in these startups versus each of us writing $5K checks individually, right? And so at least like, even though $25K is not a lot if you're raising a $2 million round, it's still better than $5,000 times 5 or 6 people. And to use the LLC to like bring our power together as a team. And then we created a brand, right? It was like, hey, this is Harlem Capital. We were surprised the name was available. We made a website, did the colors, the maroon brown was because we were in Harlem and Harlem is known for its brownstones, right?
Yeah.
So we did the maroon because of the brownstones. And so for us, it was like, because we did that, it gave us, and hey, here's these, 24-year-olds writing 5K checks. It was like, no, this is a fun, and they're writing smaller checks, but like they're a real team. And so I think, it's kind of like walk the shoes before you can actually fit them. Right. And that's what we were kind of doing with the Angel Syndicate and building the brand. And people thought we'd raised money from other people already, even though we hadn't. It was just our personal money.
I mean, also you picked like the perfect color, like that maroon. That maroon is like that's like one of those wealth colors. When people see it, they're like, damn, like, what I'm saying? It has that shit with it. So obviously y'all were moving a certain type of way to like understand.
And it hits the Harvard Crimson maroon too. So it kind of just flowed right in.
And during this time, right, and when you guys decided you were going to go this route, what did you like kind of see in the VC landscape that made you realize there was an opening to do this? I mean, like just being like, quite frank, like just being a couple black guys deciding, oh, we're going to start a fucking fund in New York City and hope that people take us seriously, even with the Harvard backgrounds. That's not like an easy thing to do.
I mean, I think, similar to any founder, you try to solve a solution to the problems that you have yourself. Right. And so for us, like we were angel investing because we loved investing. Then we get to business school and it's like, hey, we'd love to do what we did as an angel syndicate, but do it with somebody else with more capital. Right. And this was in 2017, long before, George Floyd. And the answer was like, there were no funds that we could do this with. So we actually didn't want to raise a fund. We went to business school. We took, $250,000 of debt out. I wanted to go work, make $500,000 somewhere else, and pay off my debts versus like going, trying to raise a fund, having a less salary, post business school that I made pre business school. But I really was obsessed with the problem of like, I want to invest in my community. I've been doing this for 2 years with my own personal capital. I can see that there are companies doing it. Like, let's do that. And once you know your passion, if there's no product to solve the problem you have, you build the product yourself, right? And Harlem Capital for us, like, was the product of like, how do we go from angel syndicate to a fund? And we couldn't do it anywhere else, so we did it ourselves. Like, it actually wasn't our like goal. Like, it's a lot easier just to go work for somebody else.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't do it at the time.
So, and this is a great segue, because when you guys were first thinking like, okay, we're going to go through Max Payne to raise money and start this fund, and it's like, okay, Harlem Capital is becoming a real thing. Like, how did it feel to like get to a point where you're like, yo, we actually closed the fund. Like, now we have to go deploy these checks and like find the right founders to actually deploy them, because that's when the game gets hard. And as a fund manager, normally if you don't strike gold or if you don't find something, especially today, you don't really get many chances to go raise that second, third, or even fourth fund.
Yeah, I mean, going from the writing 25K checks to $1 million checks was a big step. Like, definitely, our first one was, we were doing roughly 750K to $1 million plus checks in all deals. And so yeah, it was, the first few deals felt a little weird. Like, you kind of feel uncomfortable, right? Now the irony is we're on a third fund, and like $1 million check is like the smallest check we're writing to a company. And so it's like you have to level up as you level up. And so the interesting perspective is like your level of discomfort or risk taking grows over time, right? And it's like, how would you ever write $1 billion check into OpenAI? Like, that just sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's like over time, if you've scaled your funds, like, you actually get used to that and your capacity constraints. And at some point, when you're that multi-billion-dollar fund, you're like, oh, like, I don't have time to write a $10 million check, right? And so that kind of happened for us over time. We went from 25K to $1 million. Now our average check is probably 1.5 to 2.5 million. And so you just kind of learn to have that flexibility and capacity as you scale. But like the first few deals definitely felt uncomfortable writing, like, our first check was $250,000.
Yeah.
And we went to $500,000, then we got to $1 million.
What ended up being the rationale behind going from just like writing a check in a round to being like, all right, we should actually be leading these rounds and being able to provide support that other firms might not be able to provide to founders in these early stages?
I think honestly it just came from our backgrounds in private equity. Like, most venture capitalists have never worked in private equity. Private equity, you own 50% of the business or more, so it's like all on you, right? Versus venture, you typically own 5 to 20%. There's a bunch of funds. You can kind of blame other people, and if the startup doesn't go well, you just don't post about it. The startup does go well, then you do post about it. Right? Private equity, you can't do that. If it goes well or it doesn't go well, it's on you. There's nobody else to blame. And so, like, as a result of like us coming from our industry, like it doesn't. The companies you spend the most time with in private equity are the ones that are doing bad.
Yeah.
Right. And so like that culture was just like ingrained in us of like, we spend time with our companies, and if you think that you can't add value, you don't invest in the business. Right. And so we typically don't invest in the business if we can't add value, because at that point, like, I'd rather go invest in NVIDIA or Bitcoin or whatever other asset. It's like, hey, if I'm not adding value to you, I'll probably make more money in the public markets on some other company that I'm not adding value to than I will on a startup, like on a probability basis. Right. And so for us, I think it's like intrinsically, if we can't add value, then like, why are we spending time, hopefully 5-10 years of your life trying to add value to this company when you could have made 10x on NVIDIA over 3 years and just done nothing? Like, you could do the same thing, just don't add value and make money in the stock market. So like, that's just been like our framing, like as a firm, because like that's where we come from personally.
What is the hardest part, or how do you go about taking the philosophy that you guys have as partners, and then you look up and like your team has grown in size and you've added more people, but it almost feels like it's selective size. It's like, we see this person, we like them, we think they're great, they fit our culture, they fit what we're trying to build, so we add them. But it's not going out in this like, let's grab as many folks as possible to scale this up. It's more so like, how do we just go get someone that fits what we need? How have you been able to go about hiring and bringing on people that have the same level of mindset as you when it comes to building out something that isn't as much as their baby as it is yours?
Yeah, we got fortunate. So we have an intern program. We're currently in our 25th class. We've had 140 interns over 8 years at this point, over 20,000 applicants. So it's super competitive. And we've only hired from our intern class.
Wow.
So like, that's been really great for us, because the internship is 10 weeks. Our top interns, we invite back to be fellows for another 10 weeks. And some people have come back as like fellow pluses. So they've worked with us for 30 weeks. And so like Gabby, who's a partner on the team, was actually our very first intern, which was January of 2018.
Oh, that's
Right. So
crazy.
8 years ago. And so she went from intern to associate to principal to partner. And so it makes our job easier because there's no, are you selling, the hour interview, the resume. It's like, no, like we've worked with you, you've worked with us, we get you, you get us. And we can see it over time and we can build you within the firm. So TBD on when we actually like would ever hire an investor outside of like the internship. But for now, That's been our model.
Damn, like that's kind of crazy. You've been able to just find the right folks by just working alongside them instead of being like, hey, let's just go out and look who I can find online that adds value to this thing. It's like, no, like how do we just get the sweat equity folks, the people that are coming in, adding value, and then promote them as they grow?
Yeah, because our mission is very important, right? Like our mission is to change the face of entrepreneurship. And so it's like a lot of people can do the work. We typically get 2,000 applications for our internship program. We take 6 per class. Super competitive. There's definitely more than 6 people who can like do the work.
Yeah.
Our internship is part-time. So mostly people either are students in undergrad, business school, or they have full-time jobs. And so like whatever we're paying you is not more than what you're making in your job. And obviously you're still in school. Right. And so you have to like really care about what we're doing to put in the time and effort when you have something else you're doing. So it kind of gives us a signal and tells us like, hey, like this is important to you. Like Nicole, who's a principal on our team, she interned for us during COVID when she was a senior associate at RBC in an investment banking group. Right. And so you're putting in hella hours as an investment banker. That's and nuts. She was still putting in hella hours working for us because she enjoyed what we were doing and she loved the mission. And so like that for us was like, hey, like this is somebody who can like be with us long term. And Nicole now has been with us for 4.5, 5 years. And so like that does give us a signal of like, this is meaningful, even though like we may not be paying you the most and whatever it is, like that is an important signal for us to like add people to the team.
That's huge. I want to jump into your rise as whether you see it or not, bro, you're technically a content creator. You got like 75,000 followers on LinkedIn. You go to your LinkedIn, it says like top voice. I want to know, right? Like when you look at kind of the team you've built, and one of the things you guys always talk about is, being able to predict winners, find winners, but Harlem being a place for winners. How did you go about understanding the importance of social media in a time where when you probably were at your ascension or rise, social media was just kind of, or LinkedIn was seen as kind of like this platform where people just connected with people they knew?
Yeah, I've always personally loved social media. So that is like a positive. Like I don't view it as a negative or as work. I think it's really great just to like keep in touch with people, see what they're doing. And the way I view social media is like, how do I expand the surface area of chance within my network and outside of my network, right? And so part of it is a job, but part of it for me is just also just fun. Like I like to get updates on others, and I like to also like share whatever I'm talking about or thinking about, right? I've never liked reading books. I don't like to do a lot of TikTok videos. I'm starting to get into TikTok, but I've always loved writing. Like that's why I used to love Twitter before it became X. I used to do most of my writing on Twitter versus on LinkedIn. But post X, like I just think Twitter is just not the same. But like, so that's like the writing component for me has been my outlet. And sometimes it's almost like I'm writing to myself versus writing to others. Like it's like a journal. Like I can go back and see like, oh, like what I think was important this week to be my number one post to write, on whatever on LinkedIn. And so for me, it was like just personal. And I didn't do it as like, oh, I'm trying to get these followers, become a top voice. Like I'm not a content creator, though I kind of am a content creator, but like it's not my job. Like I don't care about the likes, but it is nice to engage. And I've met a lot of incredible people. I did an interview a couple months ago where like I actually didn't realize like we've raised $55 million like from LinkedIn DMs that I've gotten, right, from my content. If I kind of like went back to like where did this come from, and some of it was like from LinkedIn to here to here to here. Like overall, like from the people that I've met on LinkedIn or my DMs I've gotten, like we've raised $55 million like from LinkedIn. So it's clearly like a very valuable asset for me, and it's gotten me to like meet people. And so once you realize that, you just double down and you just do it more and more and more, and that's what I've kind of done.
55 million from LinkedIn. If you had to give any advice to somebody who's like, I have maybe the job prerequisite background to start a fund, but to your point, they might not have the network and they're looking to start writing on LinkedIn and kind of building that out, what would be your biggest tip for just building and creating a LinkedIn account that people actually want to like listen to?
I mean, my biggest advice for LinkedIn is check your DMs. A lot of people don't check their DMs, and a lot of the best people actually do. And you'd be surprised like who's in your DMs. I think for anything for content, like you just have to be your authentic self, right? I think if your job and goal is like, hey, I want to be a content creator, I want to be an influencer, then like yes, you need to like figure out what are the algorithms, and that evolves and changes, right? At one point, Twitter was like all about threads, then now it's all about
Yeah.
like doing the newsletter, right? LinkedIn at one point was long text, now it's like my pictures actually do better than my text now, right? And so like that's the game you're playing. But if that's not your job and you're like, hey, I'm a founder or I'm an employee, then like just create content that like you enjoy because that makes it
Yeah.
sustainable. So that's all I do, and that evolves over time. Right now, I'm a father. My son's 2, so I do a lot more posts on like parenthood because obviously it consumes a lot more of my life. Versus like early days, I was like posting Excel sheets because I was a banker in private equity, and that's what I was consuming my life at the time, right? And those posted really well, and so but like that doesn't matter to me as much anymore. I'm not creating Excel files at midnight,
Yeah.
now that I'm a partner and I have a kid. And so I think just like try to stay true to yourself because if you don't, like it's not sustainable. And I think if you look at the best content creators, like whether it's Mr. Beast or Speedy, whoever it is, like these people generally love what they're doing,
Mm.
right? And it's like if you
Yeah.
don't love what you're doing, like you can't do content posts like for multiple years sustainably.
That's very
And if
true.
people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. But I don't think you should post because you're like, oh, like this is gonna get 1,000 likes. Like post because you generally want
Mm.
people to hear that perspective of your voice. And the people who want to find out will find out. And for some people, that's going to be 1,000 likes. For some people, that's going to be 1,000,000 likes because everybody has different things that they're interested in, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about it is like your whole story around how you kind of grew was just like a byproduct of like whatever season I'm in, I'm going to talk about it. And then kind of as a byproduct of you talking about it, you run into people who are interested in that thing, whether, like you said, I mean, I'm sure the intersection of LPs, VCs, parents, and startup founders that are trying to balance the day-to-day work life, but also having to deal with, hey, I got a little one at home that I have to take care of, and
I mean,
I'm a
like,
full-time dad.
and what's been surprising is like the response I typically get from my posts is like, wow, like nobody ever shares the perspective that you share.
Mm.
Like to me, it doesn't feel like unique, but I've heard from multiple people like it's really unique because a lot of VCs actually only post about startups and VCs.
Mm.
And maybe like one out of every 3 posts of mine will be like about tech or venture. But I'm like, I like it's half my life, right? There's the other half of my life. I love to play sports. I love to travel. I love to party. I have kids. I'm married. I've been with my wife for 10 years. Like there's other parts of my life that I care about. And so I think that's been refreshing for people. And as a result, I've actually, added more value to people because whatever site, if I want to hear about like BC math or whatever it is, but it's
Yeah.
like people who are in venture are not talking about their actual like lives that aren't on, Twitter. And so I think that actually ended up being like a byproduct of why I gained so many followers. And that was feedback that I got from a lot of people of like, hey, like we just don't see that from a lot of people in your industry.
Do you think that we lose that when it comes to a lot of people because being authentic, people don't want to, I'm not going to say people don't want to be authentic, but they struggle with trying to balance their personal life with their business life and think that the two can't coexist in a way that is meaningful?
I mean, that's probably partially true. Like people, naturally we don't want to be vulnerable. Like it's scary, right? If
Yeah.
you share your whole self and then you get no likes or you get dislikes or people comment on it, and then like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, you're like, hey, like this is my authentic self. And you're like, all excited. And then people are like, we don't like that. And you're like, damn, like now you feel like, that's like very different than like, hey, let me post about something venture or whatever. And then people don't like it. It's like, okay, cool. Like they don't like that, but like they still like me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's definitely vulnerability. I personally like, as a founder of my fund, like I've built my fund as the place that I would want to be, right? Otherwise, like, why are you doing this? Like, just go work for somebody else. And so I view work and my life like as one cohesion, right? And I don't,
Yeah.
I don't change who I am in any room, whether it's, with I've met the president of the United States, not the current one, the past one. I've met multiple billionaires or whatever it is. Like, I'm just the same person, like in all rooms, like from my friends to my family. And like sometimes that's that can get at me too. Like it's not like always a pro. Like being authentic doesn't mean you can always have positive responses to that, right? But for me personally, I'm just saying I don't have the mental capacity to think about how I'm supposed to act in different environments, right? And I've been in all environments. I've been in predominantly white schools. I was the only Black person in my investment banking group out of 45 people. I've been in a Black-owned private equity firm. I've been at Harvard Business School, right? And so like, I don't have the mental capacity to think about how I'm supposed to act in all these different rooms. And so I'm gonna go into a room, and if you like me, you like me. If you don't like me, then I'll be fine. Like I got plenty of friends. I'm married. I got a kid. Like I don't need you in my life.
That's real. That is real. Well, I have to take you to a segment that I think is a little spicy. We call it our Warp Speed segment because Warp is our sponsor on the show. They do HR, payroll, and compliance faster, autonomously using AI, so you don't have any of the headache. And I'm going to put you through 5 rapid fire questions in the Warp Speed show, and you basically have to answer them. Forget the timer. You only get 1 minute and 30 seconds, but I haven't updated it yet because I forgot to before the show. So let me know when you're ready. I'm going to hit you with some.
Let's go.
All right, first question. What's a red flag that VCs rarely admit that they know they dislike about founders?
That they really, I mean, a lot of VCs don't do background checks. And I think it's on purpose, actually.
Okay,
I think a lot of VCs don't want to know. They want to know certain things.
Like they don't want to know if the person is like squeaky clean wreck.
Fraud, scam before. I mean, we've seen it all, like in the background checks, all kinds of things. And a lot of VCs still back those founders, and it's honestly pretty surprising to me.
Wow. Number 2, what part of venture feels broken right now?
Probably the Series A. The latest conversion metrics from seed to A is like 15 to 20%, and there's just no way, in my opinion, that that's sustainable. Like the market doesn't work if so few companies can get to the next round, and though there's a ton of money being deployed, that money being deployed is being deployed into very few companies, which overall is like not good for innovation for America. So I think like that fundamentally actually will not do well for America's tech system if fewer players are receiving more dollars. And that's the path we're going on right now.
Question number 3. If you weren't investing and had to start a startup, what industry would you start your startup in?
I mean, it had to be around sports for me because I just love, like, if I wasn't going to be a VC, I would be a paddle or tennis professional player.
I was going to say, you've been playing a lot of paddle, a lot of tennis too.
A lot, bro. I played paddle this morning, tennis yesterday. Like, I'm very much into wellness. You know, part of that is Miami, but I think I would probably start something around like wellness or sports because that's my passion right now outside of venture.
All right, number 4. If you could not live in Miami but had to live somewhere else that is a venture hub that is not SF or New York, where would you pick?
Whew, that's tough.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot here.
That's tough. Not New York, because New York was obviously my number 2. I would honestly probably go back home to Detroit.
Okay.
Like, I was going to say either like Boston or Chicago, but Boston's freezing. I don't do a lot of healthcare. I think Detroit, honestly, is just as good as Chicago. So I'd probably go home to Detroit.
All right. Last question. What's the most overrated signal in VC investing?
Overrated signal.
When you're trying to figure out if you're going to invest in a founder, which one?
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be the company they worked at or another fund, gives them a term sheet. We typically like to get our own conviction in founders versus like waiting for others to give conviction. So I try not to like care as much about like the cap table and say, oh, if this fund invests, like they must be good. I think that's how you get into some of the situations that we've been in. So I'd probably say the cap table, like looking at other investors that have invested.
And that's it. That's all I got for you. That's the Warp Speed lightning round. And I'm taking you straight into another hot, spicy topic that's floating around as we've seen hundreds of billions of dollars being deployed in AI. Whether you just talked about it only being mostly at the top, but I want to go a little bit deeper. Your investor cap one, you're looking at these companies, anything from seed to Series A and beyond. You're sitting here, you're looking at some companies, the valuations seem absurd in comparison to revenue. Others, it's like, oh man, this is undervalued, but I don't know if they get eaten up in XYZ time frame. Like, what are your thoughts on this kind of AI bubble we're in? Are we actually in one? Do you think it's going to continue growing? Like, what are your thoughts around investing right now with where we currently stand?
I mean, we're definitely in a bubble. The question is how much longer until it pops, right? And that timing is hard, and that's the Warren Buffett time in market, don't time the market. And I'm a big believer in that. And so even when there's a bubble, I mean, you can look at, any of the charts of like dollars deployed, unicorns minted, $100 million plus rounds. Like once you see that steep curve, like you have to come back down. You just don't know how long and how deep that curve is going to go down. So, I think, we continue to play the game on the field. We continue to invest. We aren't investing nearly as fast as we did in 21. I think 21, we did not learn. That was that was
Yeah.
my first cycle as an adult. Right? I wasn't investing in 2008. I graduated college after that. And so for me, like this was my first cycle. I think looking back, it was like, oh, we knew there was a bubble. Like let's like don't not invest, but like let's not invest as fast, right? And so
Yeah.
now we're still investing, but like if our average amount of deals per year is 10, maybe we do like 6 to 8, right? Maybe we're a little bit more selective. And so that's what we're doing now versus like, hey, like we think there's a bubble, but like, it doesn't mean we're not going to continue to invest. And I think, there's a lot of companies that have their websites .ai and they have very little AI in their business. And so, I think you just have to like have a lot of discernment.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part now, this is the most exciting time I've ever had investing because the smartest people in the world are now starting companies, right? You're seeing people leave incredibly cushioned jobs to start companies in AI. But the hardest time to invest is also now because there is very minimal product differentiation, right? The definition of AI implies that like, hey, whatever you start, somebody can start that 6 months later, cheaper and faster than whatever you did. Like that's how AI works. And so like that moat kind of goes away. And that makes it really hard for you to say like, hey, this, cool, you have a 3-month head start, but I have no idea what Cursor or ChatGPT or whoever is going to create. So that part makes it hard, but like you're like, wow, but this talent is incredible. So this has been challenging for me because I'm a founder first person. And so I'm like, I love this person, but I do the research on the market. There's freaking 20 other companies doing this and they're all really good. Like I have no idea if they're going to win. Right. So it makes it really hard. I think every investor is going through it now. We're just seeing the best talent, but the product side is freaking hard. Like it's just tough.
You touched on something that like is core for you, which is like investing in people. But now it's like investing in people has continued to be the story and it's very important. But in a world where, like you said, I mean, you could get eaten up in 2, 3, 4 months. I remember I was chatting with a founder. He was trying to do like basically the Meta Ray-Ban AI video glasses. And he like put out this announcement, goes crazy. And then like maybe like a week and a half to 2 weeks later, Meta announces theirs. And I'm like, bro is basically, unless I don't know what he would have to do at that point, but it's like, he's basically eaten. So when you do analyze a company, you're like, man, founder is great. I don't know if the market, I don't think that he can actually survive in this market. How frustrating is that level of like a duality?
I mean, you've got to believe deeply in a founder's velocity to learn and adapt. So I think the questions you're trying to answer for founders have shifted. You've always wanted incredible founders, right? But maybe before it was like, hey, who has great sales and go-to-market or distribution, right? Which is still true. But like now it's like, I need you to be able to adjust and adapt because Google came out with its newest model or Meta came out with the Ray-Bans, right? Because I personally, if you said, hey, are you long or short Snapchat post IG Reels? I thought that stock, I thought Snapchat was dead, right?
Dead ass, I did too.
And their fans and their people are loyal. My sister uses it, and so there's the case Meta can come out, but like people can still win. Like Snapchat's still around, right? And yes, Teams won, but like Slack is still a big business and got acquired for $20+ billion. Right. And so I think like there are levels to it. It doesn't mean like, hey, you're just dead because Meta announced it.
Yeah.
The question becomes like, what is your unique edge now that Meta has announced it and they have distribution, you don't have distribution? And do you have a founder who is going to lean in versus lead out and fight versus flight in those moments of near-death experiences, which Elon and every other founder has had? That's the question you're trying to answer for versus like, do I think this person has the best product? Because you don't know what the product will be in 6 months from your competitors. You don't know what technology will be out there. And maybe you built your product on the wrong model and now a new model comes out, right? So I think that's the hard question. But I think the questions just change what you're looking for in founders. But the question of like, is this a great founder has always been true. But now like what makes that great founder is a very different list than maybe what it was before.
Yeah, your Snapchat analogy was like so good because I remember when like Reels and all this stuff came out. I was like, man, why would anybody ever want to touch Snapchat again? But it's crazy. So like in my building, there's a fair amount of like Miami students. I get in the elevator and one of the guys, Miami student, bro is using Snapchat. He's like opening. I'm like,
they're 800 million. There are 800 million users now.
Yeah, but I'm like, who the fuck? Like, nothing wrong with Snapchat. Don't get me wrong. I don't use it, but I'm like, people actually like use this app the same way I would.
Not using, like it's growing.
Yeah, it's almost insane. It's like that whole idea of when you get punched in the mouth, are you going to be able to like train yourself to take that punch, duck, weave, bob, and then be able to punch back? Because I mean, you look at Snapchat now, you're like, damn, like everybody who slept on Snapchat maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago is like, wow, they actually really have cooked since then.
Yeah, and it's like obviously like IG won, right? Like
Yeah.
Meta stock, like if you had to pick the two stocks, like you made way more money on Meta than Snapchat. But like Snapchat is still a multi-billion-dollar business. And so it doesn't mean you're gonna win, but like if the market's big enough, which is what we're going through now, with Anthropic or OpenAI or whoever it is, like I think the market is big enough where there'll be multiple winners, but like the big player, whoever that becomes, like will obviously eat the majority this year.
When you think about like some of these insane rounds we've seen where top talent, you talk about high quality talent. We've seen high quality talent leave places like OpenAI and go on to start their own thing. I think it was Mira Murati started Thinking Machines. And then more recently, there was another team that raised like a $400 million seed round called Humans and they raised a seed to kind of do the same thing, like create their own foundational lab company. Are we at a point where if you were now trying to catch up to where OpenAI or Anthropic or some of these other competitors were maybe a year ago, no matter how much money you get, or at least, to an extent, you're going to be behind the eight ball to the point to where you are almost like net negative on being able to be a real player in the space?
I mean, I think people would have said that for Anthropic, right, who's doing 9 billion, I think it was the latest revenue, or Google, right, who just took 20-25% market share from OpenAI.
Insane.
Right. So like, I think they've proven that no matter how far ahead you are, like I think the difficult thing with AI is it's a head start. Versus before, if you had said, hey, another company like OpenAI had grown from 1 to 15 billion revenue in 2 years in a consumer market, like that would have been like a guaranteed winner.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're like, this company won, they got 800 million users. And now, like, it's like, even with that, like, you still may not end up being a winner. Or if you are the winner, your market share is, 10 to 15% above the number two versus the old way of Google and Meta, where you were freaking 60% above the second player. So I think that the market has just shifted, right? And it's going to continue to shift. There is no clear winner. What is clear is there is a lot of money that will continue to be going into the space. And I think because of it, and, people are continuing to bet even on the second or third. You can say the same even with XAI, right? Like, I think they're even doing decently well, and they're probably the most undercapitalized of the ones. And so, I think there's a lot to be TBD for this whole space, and nobody really knows.
If you had to pick one, and I'm putting you on the spot, based on all, we're looking at, you got Sam Altman.
I think OpenAI will win consumer, and Anthropic will win enterprise. I think they're two different businesses.
Do you think Google wins anything?
I don't think they win, but they're still going to be a big player.
Yeah.
Right. I think they'll still be big. And I think they'll be big in different ways. Like maybe they probably will compete more with OpenAI on the consumer because obviously their business is search. Mm-hmm. And so my guess is they're going to compete more on the search side and compete more with OpenAI. I don't know if Google will be able to compete as much on the enterprise side with Anthropic. It's just, that's not like the natural business model. Like most of Google's business model is on the consumer side, and Microsoft, because they have Azure and a couple other enterprise, like maybe they would be the ones, but obviously they did the OpenAI bet. So
now I have to ask you, as a man who deploys checks, when you look at all of these industries, like all of these sub niches of AI companies, like what do you actually find? Like, what are you finding interesting? What's been piquing your interest as an area where you'd be willing to deploy capital if it's like right founder, right team, right confidence level?
I really go to like, do I love this founder? The questions I ask is like, why you, why now, why this? Right? Like there has to be a very specific reason why I believe out of the 8 billion people on our earth, you're the person to solve it, and like you're the person to solve it at this point in time. Right? And so that's the stuff I'm getting to. Now, like from like a product perspective, like we never used to like hardware. We like hardware more now because in a product world with AI, one of the few differentiations is hardware.
Yeah.
And if you look at the most valuable companies in the world, Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, hardware companies, right? And so people are beginning to realize like, oh shit, like these hardware companies actually have massive moats. And even if Apple is slow as heck to get their technology and Series still can't work a decade later, the hardware gives them the flexibility to have the time and still be a top 5 large company, and same with Microsoft. Microsoft is able to like obviously make the pivot to Azure and have the software side. Like that hardware component gave Microsoft 20 years runway to decide like, oh, we want to be a software business, right? And same with Elon, Like with Tesla, like
Yeah.
really the bread and butter for Tesla ultimately will be the robots and the robo taxis, which are software. And so I think like that, like the hardware component is becoming more interesting. So we're looking at that more than we ever have. We never really were interested like in consumer or healthcare.
Mhm.
We're definitely more interested now with consumer and healthcare AI companies than we would have like on the software side, because one, the consumer scale, and two, from a healthcare perspective, there are less stakeholders who have to give approvals now for
Mm.
products versus before it was like you need this and you need, like now there's like one or two decision makers. But like end of the day, like I'm focused on, do I have extreme conviction in this person? As long as I don't like the industry, like I don't do biotech, I
Yeah.
don't like CPG, like I'm not doing food and beverage. Like if you're not in an industry that I hate, I think you're an incredible founder, then I'll do it. Right? We kind of see like a chart, right? It's like on the y-axis is like okay founder, great founder, and on the x-axis is okay market, great market. Obviously, the ideal is top right, great founder, great market. That's rare and
Yeah.
super expensive, right? The founder who's like YC, Stanford, it's a LLM, came out like, yeah, okay, obvious, great founder, great market, $100 million seed round. We're too small for them to do that, right? Realistically, occasionally you'll do that, but most of your investments are going to be okay founder, great founder, okay market.
Mm.
My personal preference is great founder, okay market over okay founder, great market,
Mm.
right? And so I try to say in the top of the bracket of great founder, if I have a great market or a good market, like that, the scale varies. Like I don't want to do a great founder, shitty market. So I'll do
Yeah.
a great founder, good market and get as close as I can to great founder, great market. But like that's just rare, right? And those are obvious. And that's why you raise a $2 billion, Mars seed round, because it's a great founder, great market.
That makes a ton of sense. And from your perspective, right? You've worked with a lot of founders. You've seen a lot of founders have to pivot, trying to figure out like what does the market for the product look like. When you think about markets that are like great markets to build in, or markets that you think consumer healthcare is interesting, right? You don't like consumer packaged goods, but like does something like consumer productivity from a hardware standpoint make sense to you? Like what are some actual markets
I
within
don't like
hardware?
productivity tools personally.
Yeah.
I think it's really
Yeah.
hard to change behaviors, and we looked at a bunch of productivity tools. So I personally don't like productivity tools. I like vertical solutions for customers that have high margins,
Mm.
right? So whether that's right now for AI, that's freaking Harvey in the legal space. We have an accounting business. We have a talent marketplace for accountants. We have a healthcare. So I like we have a nursing home like AI tool. I
Yeah.
like very specific niche because one, it means that the large players are unlikely to come into a vertical, right? Versus the mass consumer like market, they're going to come into a vertical.
Yeah.
Also, it means that these people can pay you really high prices because it doesn't take much for you to give them an ROI, right? So for one of our accounting AI tools that we have, our average ACV is six figures.
Wow.
Why? Because if we're able to get that accounting firm one extra customer, which is what we do, we basically give them cross selling across different verticals for accounting firms. Like we use AI tools to look at all your customer lists and figure out like, hey, this customer
Yeah.
does this tool, or uses this service line. We have a high probability chance they're going to use this service line based on our data. You couldn't see that with the naked eye, but like the data can see that. And if we get you one of those customers, and then for a top 50 accounting firm, you're going to make multiple hundred thousands of dollars, right? And so the ROI for them is so easy. It's like, yeah, it cost me 150K, but if you give me one customer in 365 days, I'll cover that cost
Mm.
easily, and hopefully give me two, three, four, right? So that's why people like the legal services, the healthcare, the
Yeah.
accounting, because like their margins are so high, you can charge them absorbent prices, and they don't care,
That's facts.
right? So like I love that like vertical niche, high margin professional services, nursing facility who are owned by private equity funds. They're doing 30-40% EBITDA margins, and they have the cash flow to take that risk to grow EBITDA margins even more. Like that's like the bread and butter sweet spot for me personally.
It's funny because looking at like companies like Harvey and like the jumps that they've made, it's like you see a company like that, and then it's like goes from seed to like,
100
oh
million
yeah,
plus.
we're raising Series C at a billion, whatever the thing. It's like, bro, what the fuck? But then when you think about it, it's like, yeah, if a lawyer's, I mean, imagine the amount of money that lawyers have to spend doing just like
I mean,
minuscule tasks.
when I was in private equity, our deal, like our lawyer fees would be like $1 to $3 million per deal,
That's
right? Like
absurd.
that's like that's a per deal basis, not like the whole year. So like these lawyers are billing tens of millions of dollars of their partners, right? And so if you say,
Yeah.
hey, like, I don't know what Harvey's pricing is, but if Harvey's like, hey, we're going to charge you $250,000 and we're able to like save you this amount of time and you could do one more deal. And if one more deal is $1 to $3 million of revenue,
That's a win.
and just like if I can save you enough time to do one more private equity deal, you will cover the cost times four. Like, so like the bar is just not high, which is why like you see General Catalyst getting into the healthcare space and doing roll ups, and you're seeing Sequoia and all these funds do these AI service roll ups because they're realizing the same thing. Now the hard part is people are paying up and putting high multiples on that, and so that's I don't think it will. The downfall won't be because the business model doesn't work. The downfall will be because they pay too much money on the front.
Yeah, I feel like, and take it with a grain of salt because I've only done about 10 angel investments, but from what I've seen, it's so difficult to find a lot of value or like expectation isn't like through the roof, because by the time you see a deal, unless you're like pre-seed, you're seeing it so early, it's like the valuations now, they're like starting at 20 mil pre-revenue, pre-customer. I'm like, damn. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're raising at a 20 mil cap valuation. I'm like,
don't even have a bank account yet. I mean, we've had 2 deals where we've had to wait to wire money because there wasn't a bank account yet.
Jesus. How do you even, is there ever a moment where you're like, the valuation just does not work for us? Like, you're a great founder, but like these numbers, I can't stomach them at this point in time.
I mean, there was a recent post by Henry Ward, who works at Carta, and he looked at, if you look at the top decile of seed round valuations, which was like, I don't know, 50, 60 million.
Yeah.
What was the likelihood of them becoming unicorns? They had an 8 times higher likelihood of becoming unicorns than the median seed valuation. Now, like if you look at that on a returns basis, like if how many of those companies made a 50x from seed to exit?
Yeah.
That number was relatively the same. So median seed and top decile seed price have pretty much the same chance of becoming a 50x return for those people, right? But like the getting to the unicorn piece being 8x more is actually pretty significant, particularly given our venture model of like LPs want to see unicorns.
Yeah.
Right. And they want to see them faster because you're trying to raise your fund every 2 to 3 years. So like there is a business to it. Like, somebody told me recently this week, actually, the founders who can raise the $10 million plus seed rounds usually have a higher propensity to become unicorns because they're just in that flow. They know the funds, they know how to raise capital, they're willing to take that risk, right? And so that's not our business model. Like we will do it occasionally, but I also get why people do it regardless of the price. So we're kind of in between. I've also heard recently from another fund who said, hey, we don't share valuation.
Oh, did I lose him? Did we lose it? Did we lose Henri? Oh, did I freeze or am I still here? Am I still here or did we lose Henri? Oh, he froze. Let me see if I can fix it. Let me see what's going on. Let's do a little bit of call manager check. Oh crap. I think he got kicked out. Let me see if I can bring him back really quick. Give me 1 second. 2, 3. Yeah, I think he got kicked out. Let me see if I can bring him back. He was cooking up too. 2, 3. Oh shoot. I gave Anisha, don't join yet. I think you might have joined the wrong call. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she joined the wrong call, and it probably kicked on. I think it kicked on when she joined. Yeah. Let me see if I can let me just update this really quick. I'm pretty sure Henri got kicked. Call to 1 second. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good. Let me try to see if I can get him back in here really quick. I don't know why. It kicked. Let me see. I don't know why I kicked him. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just kicked him. 484. 1 second, we're getting our VC friend back in here. Let me just. I think okay. I have to get Henri back in here. Let me get Henri back in here, and let me get the founder back in here. That's unfortunate. Let me see. I don't want to have to reset this. That is the best timing ever, because it was just about time to like pitch. It was just time to pitch. Let me see if let's see if we can get it going again. Awesome. Awesome. Well, now we're just waiting on. We got to get Henri back in here. But we got G in here. You're going to be the first person to pitch, but we got to get the VC back in here. Well, the timing is great because we got Henri back, we got G back, and Henri, I have to put you through. Normally, I put people through like YC Arena pitches, and I'll have them review YC pitches. But for you, because you're a VC, and I wanted to do this even better, we're going to run open pitch. So I have G. He's working on a cool AI company. He actually hit me today on LinkedIn, and I just went through what he was working on. I was like, yo, this is actually kind of dope. So let me see if you actually would be open to pitching. And he was like, yo, I'll hop on. I was like, that's the type of spirit we need. So G, the floor is yours. We're interested to hear more about what you're doing. Pitch me your startup.
I think you're on mute. Can you hear him? G, I can't hear you.
You can't hear him?
No, can you hear him?
I can. I don't. It's not letting you hear him?
I can hear you. I can't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear him. What the heck?
Yeah, but I can hear you though.
G, I can hear you. I don't think he can hear. I don't think Henri can hear you. Say something else, G.
Can you hear me, G? Oh, you can hear me. That's so weird.
How about now? Say something again, G.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay. Cool. Let's go.
Let's restart the intro.
Get it. Okay. Hello, my name is G Lee. I'm majoring in CS and math. I'm building Milo by the Serotis app. I'm building the first AI speech therapist, so you can text it and call it on iMessage and web. So there are session summaries where you are given personalized tips, recommended exercises with live transcripts, to see your syllabus, repetition, and more. Also, there's an exercise library of 47 guided exercises to turn blocks into clarity. Also create your own learning plan and plan. Oh man,
you're good, brother. So
to get to repetition and to confidence, and start today on the pro plan for less than $1 a day.
So I'll preface this. G let me know in advance he has a bit of a speech impediment, Henri. He is building an AI speech therapist to help with speech therapy, right, G?
Correct. Yes, sir. Thank you.
And it's $1. You said it's $1 per 4 sessions.
No. The pro plan is $20 a month for unlimited usage.
$20, gotcha. And
But
I
the
guess
thing
like
is, it's just a $1 per day, pretty much.
yeah, $1 per day. How many like where are you? Like, are you beta phase, post launch? How many users do you have? Paid versus free? I imagine you have like a free tier and a paid tier.
Yes. So right now I have about 500. I have about 500 users. And right now I have 352 paying users right now, at a pro plan of $20 per month right now.
So you have a 40% conversion for paid, which is actually really high for consumers. So that's good.
Yes,
What
sir.
and then I guess like how have you been like marketing it? Like how are people finding you?
So basically, I launched my launch video on LinkedIn a few days ago right now, and then I also posted on X, um, etc.
I was just been social
But,
media.
but yes, yeah, exactly. But
Nice.
so my go-to market is to like target like schools, etc. And yeah.
Do you know from a market size perspective, how many people in the US like have speech impediments? Like how big do you think the market is?
So the market is about 80 million people have a speech impediment, and I'm thinking if I capture about 5.7% of the market at a $20 a plan a month, that's $1 billion in revenue per year. So that's the goal, is to get $1 billion TAM size, stuff for YC and etc.
Nice. I mean, solid. How much you looking to raise?
Uh, I'm looking to raise half $1 million.
What is that to hire engineers or who are like what else is missing on the team?
Yes. So, so we want to highlight more engineers, and um, and so we also want to, yeah. So we want to highlight hire engineers, but we also have to like market on like the like a growth size of things, because like like the B2P is very easy to market, but the hardest side to market is like the B2C. So my plan is to
Yeah,
do
it's
like
also more it's also more
growth
expensive
marketing,
too.
etc. Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Do
I
you
mean,
see this? Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Chris.
No, I was wondering, do you see this as like mostly a B2C tool, or I mean, is there a role where like schools would pay you to like have this for their students? Like I feel like this is something that could work in the education space like very well.
Yeah, that is true. So right now, I'm integrating into into like a high school right now at the moment,
Okay.
and so there's about
Yeah, I like that B two
500
B
students.
play over the. I like that B2B play over the direct to consumer. Direct to consumer is super expensive. You know
Tough.
your retention's hard over time, and but I think that, I mean we've looked at thousands of companies. I've
Hmm.
never seen a company in this space, so I think that's pretty unique and pretty
Thank
rare.
you.
It doesn't happen often. I think the fact that you understand the user journey, right? I always ask the questions like, why you this, why you, why this, why now, and obviously like you understand a problem, right? And so I think that
Hmm.
gives you a unique edge, and if you can hire the talent to build it, it makes sense. So I don't have like a thesis on this space, and I haven't seen a lot of companies in this space, so I don't like have a perspective. But I think it's actually interesting. I would definitely look into it to like see if there's actually 80 million people, then the market's definitely large enough.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Thank you so much.
And we appreciate you for coming on, bro. Like it
Yeah, no,
is.
appreciate you coming on, man. You said like I'm gonna go share the story. This is a company, so props to you. Most people, you know, just wouldn't want to do it. So thanks for coming and sharing the story. I think it's interesting, and I'll have Bryce send me the
Uh,
links. I actually want to look at it.
awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Definitely. Take care, G. Have a good rest of your evening and a good weekend.
Okay, I wish you a great day. Take care. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.
That was dope of him for coming on, man. I like he when he messaged me, I was like, he said he had a speech impediment. I was like, that's not a bad thing. I was like, come on and pitch. Like, come out. If you believe in what you're building, pitch it. And like to the point, there probably isn't a better founder to build what he's building because he's gone through it. He knows exactly what would need to have, in my opinion, to be able to solve and suffice for some of the problems. So I'd like to see him get in schools.
If he's technical, then that would be like a huge pro because it's like he is the user. He's technical building for himself.
Yeah.
I like the education play as well. I think the direct to consumer play would be less interesting for me. Even ed tech isn't like easy. Like we haven't done ed tech. Like it's just a hard space. But I think if you have the ed tech play, even like maybe government plus direct to consumer, that gives you a decent distribution model versus like, hey, we got to spend a bunch of CAC dollars to get people to buy this, individually.
Yeah, I think he has to go ed tech. To your point, like I think it has to be a thing where it's like, hey, we're trying to sell into every school at every level and just provide this, for a year-long contract, whatever the thing is at scale, or else it becomes a problem. It's like, I don't know. I'm personally not sold on the idea that he is able to sell enough of these just straight pure to consumer to like actually make it make sense from a VC standpoint. But I think if he really, yeah. But we have one more for you. And this is another it's funny because another founder product fit. So welcome to the stage, Anisha. It's a pleasure to have you on to chat about what you're doing in the dental industry as a dentist. So welcome. Oh,
Having here. Hello, Henry. Yeah, so basically, I'm building Redefine. It's a financial service platform. What we do is we make funds accessible for dental professionals who are planning on setting up their own practices. And the trick is we do it initially collateral free. The investment ranges from 500,000 US dollars up to 15 million US dollars. It's a very capital intensive business. So we invest into dental professionals who we think have got it. Like we have certain parameters we evaluate them on. We have 87 people. We've launched like 4 months ago. We've started the waitlist. We have 87 people we have shortlisted. 60 of them have made it through the application process that we have, and we have 4 million US dollars of fund from investors who are interested in investing into this program. So it's a peer-to-peer lending platform. What we do is we take the money from investors, we invest it into dental professionals, and the investors can expect a return from 16 to 18% on the capital. That's what we are building.
What do you I guess like what are you charging? What interest rate are you charging the dentists? And then given the balance sheet component, it gives more like bank than startup. So like is there like a tech edge or an AI edge that makes you, not just a lender?
Yes. So Redefine is not just a financial service platform. We are also building a technology that, like evaluates how we evaluate the founder that's fit for the entire program. And it's evaluation at this stage, but like since we are into a business where we set up dental practices, let's say 5 years or 10 years from now, you can only set up a maximum amount of practices. We plan on pivoting into dental tech. So it's basically we're accumulating data from that platform as of now. And when we come to interest rates, it's 16 to 18% on the capital investment. The investors can, like take that into account. Like whoever is investing into this funnel can have, like a return of expected somewhere around 16 to 18% on the capital investment they make. And
And how much are
what
you
we are
get? So
gaining
how much are
from
you
this,
making on that? So
yeah,
the 16 to
yeah.
18
So
is the peer-to-peer people, but then you're taking how much?
yeah, so we take 1 to 2% based on the risk that we are taking. So since it's collateral free, we have to have the dental practice that we set up is under the company's name until the like amount that you've taken as loan is paid in full along with the interest. So we take somewhere around 1 to 2% on whatever the investor earns. And we also have a platform fee of like $100 for the like dental professional who's coming on board with us. And there's one more revenue stream that we have. It's we make 0.1% of revenue from any dental treatment above $1,000 after 1 year of establishing the dental practice for 1 year. So when
Gotcha.
we do the projections and everything, yeah. So right now there are 190,000 dental professionals in the US, and 75% of them take, like outside help in terms of funds to start up their own dental practice. And when we do the math, and if we only acquire just 5%, which is way less than the expected amount of the consumers, we have a potential of generating 107 million US dollars worth of revenue in one annual year. That's what we
You
like
got
are doing here.
your TAM analysis down.
Yeah, because I was wondering, I was
Yes,
like how big
yes.
is the TAM for this thing? Like how many people are
Yeah,
starting
I mean,
practices?
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. 190 thousand US dentists are graduate every year, as of
graduate every year.
2024 data
Oh
of
wow.
yes, that's a huge number. And 75% of them, like start their own dental practices out from
Hmm.
the outside fund. And most people do not have the collateral or co-signer for that. That's where we come in. We solve that problem for people. We do not need your collateral. We do not need a co-signer. We do not need any of that. We want you to come with a plan with numbers. And we have, like we have dental professionals who have done it before in the team. They have certain set structures of what actually works. We basically, like we believe in the mantra of test small and scale whatever works. So especially such, like scenarios, dental industries, whatever things that have worked in the past for the people who've already set up those practices, we use those structures, like structures as in like how much investment they should take, like based on the location they want to start up their dental practice in. Like I wouldn't let you start a dental practice in California as, like you say that you want to start a dental practice in California, and then you say you want to start a dental practice in New York, Manhattan. The amount of investment that we are going to make is not going to be the same because the geography plays a like a large role. The infrastructure varies from place to place. So that's where we come in. We do not
Yeah,
just
that
provide you
makes
access
sense.
to funds. We also provide you structures.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
mean that makes sense. I think so I mean for me, so as a VC investor, the biggest things I'm trying to think through here is like, is this, first question is like, is this a lending business versus a tech business? And now there have been plenty of like lending companies, right, that have raised, like whether it's Nubank, Robinhood, et cetera, right, like who, on the equity side or credit side. Um, it's a different market that we're in now where like interest rates are higher, so those businesses are just a little bit more difficult to do. And the question for me is less like, hey, it's more about like, do you want to take venture dollars, which is typically 20 to 30% IRR, in order for you to build the balance sheet to pay your investors on the peer-to-peer side 16 to 18%, right? If you can prove like, hey, we have a pretty consistent model. We know that there's low churn. These business, the dentist offices will do 2 to 3 million of revenue pretty consistently. If they're really good, they'll do 4 to 5 million
Yeah.
of revenue. You should be able to get financing, like whether that's from like an accounts receivable, asset loan, whatever it is, which is like probably in the 10 to 15% interest rate. And so I would just like, if as you do the model, I would dig deeply into believing like you have the conviction of this is why I want to take 20 to 30% venture equity IRR in order for me to make 16 to 18 plus the 1 to 2% you're taking. So call it 18 to 20. That like mathematically to me as a finance person seems like a disconnect, right? And you could potentially,
Mhm.
you're taking the wrong capital stack for the business that you're doing, right? In my opinion. I haven't done the details, but like if you're really targeting 18 to 20% returns for all in you and your investors, you should not be taking 20 to 30% venture capital dollars. Like it's just too expensive.
Got it. No,
Do you?
that does make sense. Um,
No, I was wondering,
yeah,
is it?
go
I mean,
ahead.
from like a capital perspective, does it make more sense to just like run this as like you almost take out a business, like you get a business loan or you get some sort of private investment that's like at a different rate. Because I do agree with Henri from the perspective of, I don't know if this scales fast enough to actually satisfy like the venture requirements or returns venture funds are looking for, right? Like how much would you have to lend out to get to a point where this can make 100 million in annual recurring revenue?
I mean, assuming you're,
Okay,
1 to 2%, you can kind of back into like what that is, right? That's 10 to 20 billion of volume. Because essentially you're charging an origination fee, right? Because you're like, hey, I'm the in between. You're not the balance sheet, and so you're like, I'm going to charge an origination fee of 1 to 2%, which is pretty standard for credit. And so then to make 100 million, you need a 10 billion, volume. And so the question becomes like, is there 10 billion of, and now you can credit that with the monthly fee you're charging for the platform, but like maybe that 10 billion goes down to 5 billion. Still a pretty big number from like a dentist perspective. So that's the math that I would personally figure out, to Bryce's point.
Yeah. So when we talk about whether people would want to invest in this or not, like it actually comes down to the fact that when I have actually connected with a lot of people, and especially dentists who have like a lot of clinics in across the US. So they were really interested in investing in such type of businesses because they know the kind of investment returns that dental
Oh,
clinics make,
to be
which is like
clear,
super,
I
super.
think people, to be clear, I think people will invest in this similar to Lend Table or all the other peer-to-peer plays. I think that question is clear, right? If you can say, hey, I can get your 16, 18% return. Dentist offices are typically recession-proof. It's counter-cyclical. People get their teeth clean in good markets and bear markets. Like
Yeah.
I've invested in a dentist office in Harlem. I know the dentist market. I've done some research. Now the question for us is like, would a venture capital firm invest in a company that lends to people to create dentists? That's a different question. So I don't think you're going to have an issue actually getting people to invest in the platform. And you may not need to raise outside capital in order for that to happen. You may be able to just raise capital from the people on your platform in order to like fund the business versus having to get additional capital from venture capitalists. That's more of my perspective versus like, will dentists or non-dentists invest in other people who are starting dentists? I think that's actually great as an asset class. And if you look at like dentist offices, I mean, private equity funds are paying 10 to 15 times EBITDA to like do dentist roll-ups. Like it's clearly a good business and market.
Mhm. So, the reason we are, if I'm not wrong, the question that you're asking is the reason we are getting into venture fund is for redefine. So, like I said, it's not going to be like a model that just supports dentists and bring out dental practices into action. We are also sidewise building an AI platform that evaluates how dentists works and the kind of people we should invest in and everything so that we can eventually pivot to a point where we sell dental tech. So I'm not looking at it at from a 5 year point of view or like a short term perspective. I'm looking at it from a long term perspective, like and according to me, I think the first round that we raise is only going to be the only round that we raise because the business has the potential to generate wealth from the beginning. We have
So I
certain,
want to I want to jump
like,
in. I want to jump in because I know we only have
mhm,
Henri for a couple more minutes, and I want him to be able to just kind of like give a final bit of feedback before we exit. But one thing that I will say about this is, like, I think you should have in the future, whoever you're pitching to, you should lead with the more technical side of what the platform is, because you might not even need to do the dental lending side if the goal
I
is you want
wouldn't.
to be a tech company, because then you come into the conversation, it's like, oh well, the initial idea that you're chatting about isn't really venture fundable, but the tech thing could be. But now it's like we're low on time, so we can't even like dive into the technical side. So I would almost like break them out as separate things and think like, which route do you want to go? Because if you do want to go more so direct lending, you're not going to need to go venture route. But if you want to build that technical side, you should just scrap the lending, trying to do the lending altogether, and just focus on like, how can you integrate in current systems that exist to be able to, whether it's training your model or your agent around like underwriting these dental practices, or figuring out like how you integrate with dental offices that currently exist and want to bring in outside capital to scale faster, grow faster and quicker.
Yeah, I completely agree. Two separate businesses. Doing the lending gives you no advantage, in my opinion, on the tech platform side. And so, like, why even
Yeah.
waste the time, energy to like do that when you should just go to like, hey, this like we want to build an AI tool that's like fully vertical for to dentist offices. I don't think you need to do the lending to gain their trust to give you access to the data. There are other ways to get access to the data and trust than lending them the money, which
Why
is a
don't
different business
you
model.
should just build the Harvey for dentists, because you're already a dentist as well. Like, you have the in. Like, you're like making more work for yourself.
This is just like completely very, very personal to me because I've been in that place where I couldn't, like have that capital access to like set up a dental practice, which is why I initially got into this business. So,
But it's a different
which is why I
business. Like
started with lending.
you doing lending for 5 to 6 years to get into tech. Like by the time you do that, AI would have shifted so much. Like you've just missed the window. Like you can't waste the time to get to the place you want to get to because you're like, I want to do this because it feels good. Like if you want to get there, you have to go now. Like 5 years in AI is an eternity.
Yeah.
It's too late. Like who knows what the market will look like by that point.
Yeah.
But appreciate you
Thank you so much for
sharing
your,
sharing the story.
yeah.
It was a pleasure having you on, and keep providing me. Send me feedback. But I do think like I'm gonna be the guy. Pivot and just fucking go all in on a vertical AI dental solution. I'm gonna be the guy to say it. But it was a pleasure to come on the stream and like chat with you.
See ya.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
everyone.
so much. Thank you so much.
Take care. Man, Henri, I have had you for over. You give me an hour and 17 minutes. That's more than I expected. And
That's because I like you.
oh, I feel honored. We got to do dinner or something soon, though. But truly appreciate you for coming on, bro. Like, thank you. It was a pleasure having you. And I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Play some more tennis, some more paddle. Get outside. It's not cold like it is.
It's cold this weekend.
Oh, is it?
This weekend. Yeah, it's supposed to be 39 tomorrow.
Oh, my God. I shouldn't have. I spoke too soon.
Which is crazy in Miami.
That's absurd for Miami. But no, bro, I appreciate you for real.
I'll see you around. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Definitely. Have a great weekend.
I love the format. I'm a big ESPN Sports Center. So this is a very cool format. Nicely done.
We're going to get you clips too. We got gifts. It'll probably hit your inbox tomorrow. My head of content does all the clipping, so we'll take your best moments and send them to you.
You make your head of content work on a Friday night. That's really
Nah, bro, we locked in over here, but nah, man. Truly, thank you for coming on.
996. See you soon.
Grind don't stop, bro. You take care.
All right, man. See ya.
See ya. And Henri's great, man. It was dope having him on the chat. He also went through the pitches. I think I think like his thesis around both pitches was pretty spot on around like, hey, like double down on B2B. And then I think the dental idea is actually not a bad idea. I just think she's going about it the wrong way. Like one thing I would notice is like, or at least that I took from that conversation is that she already knows the ins and outs of everything dental related because she's an actual dentist. I just think she could just go vertical. Like, forget the lending side of it. Think about what is one problem in a dental office that you can fix tomorrow and then go sell that. Like, seriously. I thought, I was like, man, she like has a lot of information. And then the first guy, G, man, I don't think people understand how difficult it is to get hit up and be like, yo, come pitch, and then pitch the same day, but then also being willing to like knowing that he has a speech impediment to be willing to come on a show and pitch. And to me, it was just like, it was dope having him on because one, he's actually building something that's so necessary, but him being so close to the pain point, I think is incredibly underrated. So without further ado, man, this is a great stream. I appreciate everyone who watched, whether you were on IG or TikTok or LinkedIn or Twitch, wherever you watch the stream from. Appreciate you coming through. And we're going to have more bangers, man. More streams coming, and it's going to be fun. So again, thank you. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to go to dinner, and I don't know, maybe I want to play some golf this weekend. I don't know if I'll get out there. I've been playing a lot of golf recently, but the goal is if I can, I'm probably going to play some golf. He said Spirited Away background. You want to know what the Spirited Away background actually came from, Ice and Dark? The Spirited Away background originated from the idea that I think that attention spans of people are too low. So the whole thought process with the Spirited Away background was like, can I go ahead and be able to basically give people post more on IG from golfing? You want to see me make, so I thought about doing, I thought about taking some of my, like, playing an entire hole and posting the hole. But while I'm talking about the hole, I'm kind of like talking about venture funding rounds or things that have happened in, like, almost like a tech roundup. It's like, come play a par 4 with me. But like, while we're playing the par 4, it's me talking about like everything that happened in tech, over the past day or so. No. It's not a whole movie. It's like a piece of it. Play Subway Surfer. You're out of your, oh my God. Bro said Subway Surfer. We are chalked. Subway Surfer? That's the best you got for me, Niam? Jeez. Yo, what's up, Bisha? What's up? Yeah, Ghibli's chill. Ghibli is chill. It was a good stream, man. I like chatting with VCs because they're the guys deploying capital. They have just like a different look, a different viewpoint on things. But G was dope. It was a pleasure getting this guy on the stream. Are we going back bald? No, I'm not going bald again. I'm keeping my hair. This is Sean. This is Summer. We got some LinkedIn messages. Nah, the Web3 games are better, bro. You get to scroll LinkedIn with me. My last scroll before we end the stream. Closer IQ. Okay. Nothing cool. Oh, Mac Mini. It's got to be a Claude bot. Oh my God. What are the plans for the weekend, chat? Actually, if anyone's in the chat is building something, send me something. I want to do one more review before I hop off the stream. Send me your company. Come one, come all. Yeah, LinkedIn is like X, basically. LinkedIn is basically X for people that have like regular jobs. Oh, I'm not putting Subway Surfers in my background. You don't like the golf content, Niam? Niam's like, golf puts me to sleep. What do you mean golf? I need to work on my swing. I'm going to play tomorrow, whether it's like me going to play around or me just being like, I'm going to, whether I play around or I end up just going to like the batting, the range and just hitting some balls. I will be playing some golf at some point tomorrow. The only problem with LinkedIn though is like finding good videos is like good posts is like every now and then you'll find something decent. Every now and then. This is short, this is summer, keep alive. But good stream. Pool. Golf, here's the thing, bro. Golf is just an addicting sport. Like, I have no other way to put it. Let me see. Do I have my I think I have some more golf clips from I'll show some more golf clips before we end it. I definitely plan on posting more golf though. It's not gonna overtake my regular content, but I could definitely see myself being like, come play playing a full whatever. Let me see. Do I have any more golf? I have a couple golf clips from the other day. Maybe I'll Was this one of them? Oh yeah, this was one. This was such a bad hit. This is from the same day. I don't even know if you can see the ball. My first shot, second shot laid it up on this par 5. Whenever I see golf, I'm like, fuck, that's such a waste of land. Would have been good farmland. Honestly, Niam, I actually like completely get where you're coming from on that. It's just so good, bro. Get there. Oh! It's brilliant. Don't sleep on the golf. Look at this. It's just brilliant. Listen to how quiet it is, Niam. Peaceful. It's so peaceful. Do I have more? I think I actually swung. Pretty sure I missed this one. Oh yeah, this was hilarious. I like completely fucking missed it. You'll love this. I went nowhere. And then I ended up re-hitting it. It went nowhere and then I re-hit it and it went somewhere. Yay! Oh man, golf is great. Oh, look at how I was hitting it when I was just practicing though. Your inner peace is when your piglets turn into bacon, huh? Wow. This is great. This is great. Look at this. Look at this. I told you guys I've been getting better. Look at those hits. Look at those hits. Fuck the farmland, Niam. Oh my God. That was so nice. I will not be golfing with Trump. Oh, that was so solid. I don't know why. It's just so enamored. Like just looking at it. Oh my God. I need to be out on the course. I need to be on the fucking course. I need to be on the course, man. Fuck. What's up, Vince? Man, this is just beautiful. You literally can't beat this shit. Yeah, this is me. I've only been playing for like a month and a half. I'm getting cracked though. Actually, I don't even think it's been. Yeah, it's been about a month and a half. Bro, I mean, I've done like 2 or 3 lessons. Oh my god. Just watching it. I gotta turn my hips a little bit more. A little bit more turning the hips would be great. I just like golf, man. I'm addicted. I think I'm addicted. I want to play golf so bad right now. I should go to Top Golf. That's my club hitting the ball, bro. What do you mean, Niam? You fucking troll. This guy is a beast though. He was a great trainer. Look how he hit that shit, bro. Bruh, he did that shit so easy, bro. Watch how he just fucking just... Like, you thought my swing looked good, and then you look at that, and you're like, damn, bro. This was the whole lesson I did with him. We recorded the whole thing. I low-key want to book. I wonder if he has any... Bro, if he has a session open tomorrow, I might book one. I'm pretty sure this is when I started fucking up. Yeah, we can find time to chat next week. My week is mostly open. It's not bad. I feel like I could get a little bit higher on it. Oh, that was so clean. That was actually so clean. I don't know why I'm so addicted to just watching this, bro. God, I want to play golf. Have a good one. All right, we're about to cut the stream. I don't need to sit here and keep watching golf. Oh. Man, I went on a tear. That was actually not great for him. All right, last one. I hope I ended on a good note. Honestly, Naim, you're such a troll. Oh, Naim. Damn, that was clean. All right, I'm done. I gotta stop. I wanna play right now. All right, I love y'all. Have a good night. I'm gonna get ready to go to dinner. See you tomorrow. Well, see you Monday. And as always, become the impossible. Take care.